What's up, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of this episode of Silver Screen Shenanigans. We're going to continue Spider-Man No Way Home. So we left off last time. Peter was, kind of feeling a little bit down.
A little bit?
A little bit down.
Just a little. I mean, everything was going bad.
It's just an off day.
Some dudes were shooting at him. He got shot. His aunt died.
Oh,
big whoop.
His entire plan to help the villains goes awry.
Yeah, they're just all gone because they broke out. This is a truly super dark moment though in the MCU.
Yeah,
we don't get a whole lot of those, but this one nails it.
Do you think this one was worse, or about the same, or a little bit less than when everybody got snapped away and they accepted they failed?
I mean,
this one I think is more personal.
Yes.
But I think in general tragic-ish, I don't know how to say it really, but I feel like the snap, because that was half of the universe just gone.
But we saw that one coming from miles away, right? He's like, this is my plan. This is what I'm gonna do.
I didn't think he was gonna win.
True. I didn't think he was, but now we know when Thanos says something that's the truth. That's a promise.
He gonna do it. I tell you what.
But I guess I'll go with this one though, because it's more personal and I could see this more relatable, I guess, to have a close family member die.
Yeah.
Obviously not because of a goblin on a glider, but
but somebody you thought you could trust.
Yeah.
Betrays you.
Yeah. He got betrayed by the lizard too, man. He got out there, he was about to crawl away. And then the lizard's like, nah,
yoink,
throws him back in.
So yeah, Peter goes to I guess he's swinging around the rooftops because he sees this big digital screen of J. Jonah Jameson gaslighting him and to be like, it's his fault. And I'm like, yo, that is so incredibly messed. I mean, it's totally in line with his character and it's perfect, but that is so incredibly messed up where your aunt dies and it's it's your fault.
And it's actively raining out. He's on a rooftop, right? The stereotypical sad
Oh
scene.
yeah, that was a choice. For it to be raining because in movies when stuff's sad, it gotta rain. I guess not all the time.
Then we go to MJ and Ned.
Right, they're at Ned's grandma.
They took the box.
I don't remember her name.
Safe.
What was her name?
I don't know if they ever. They might have said
they
it.
Said they did. I can't remember.
She's funny though.
Yes.
So yeah, Ned has the sling ring and MJ's. I'm gonna press it. I'm gonna press the button because. Oh yeah, I guess we forgot to mention in the last one when Peter goes out to
fix all of them.
He gave MJ the box, and he's like, if I don't return, in a certain amount of time, I don't remember what he says exactly, but he's like, press the button and got to get rid of him. Yeah. So she's like, we haven't seen Peter in a while, and we know kind of what happened, and it's she's really contemplating pressing the button, and Ned with the sling ring on, he goes, I wish I could just. He flails his hand in frustration. He's just I wish I could just see Peter, and a little spark happens, and we're like,
what was that?
Ned can open portals.
It was interesting because when they first go to the Sanctum Sanctorum, he's like, how did you know that you could do magic? My grandma says it's in our family.
And my hands get this weird tingling, and Doctor Strange goes, see your physician.
You should see a doctor.
When I first saw this, I thought we knew about Shang-Chi and all this stuff right now, and I was expecting him to be some relation to him. 'Cause I hadn't seen the movie yet.
So yeah, he continues to do it, and the portal opens. And dude, when I was in the movie theater, because we heard the rumor that the 3 Spider-Men are in it, and that trailer that the lizard gets his head knocked down, and we're like, why does that?
And Tom Holland goes,
but
wait, where's? Dude,
we kind of do.
That is.
And then so I was like, it was in the back of my head, but I was like, there's no way that they're gonna hire back the old 2 actors because they don't do crossovers like that specifically. But dude, Andrew Garfield shows up, and I was like, what?
Oh my goodness, it's happening! What? It's happening!
And then I was like, oh, bro, he's in it. The goat's in it, 100%. So yeah, Andrew Garfield shows up. His suit is. I noticed they're both of their suits are a little different. Like
a little different.
The white in their eyes is much more like
pronounced.
Yeah. But he does have a pretty cool suit in this one, with that little touch to the eyes. And MJ's like, touch the ceiling. Are you really Spider-Man?
She throws bread at him.
Yeah, he's like, you don't have the tingle thing, and he goes, yeah, I have the tingle thing. It's just not for bread. Dude, Andrew Garfield, like, he's another great performance in this movie. Like, he's just kind of like happy-go-lucky, like, well, all right, guys, what are we doing?
She goes, get up there and crawl around.
Crawl around? It's like, no, I'm not gonna crawl around. And then the grandma.
The grandma goes, could you ask him to get the cobweb up in the corner? Ned has to translate.
And yeah, because he's a good guy, he goes over and he gets the cobweb. And then MJ's like, okay, can you open up? Can you find like the real Peter? And then the other Peter goes, ouch. So he opens up another portal, and Tobey Maguire, the OG Peter Parker, steps through, and this is really cool because it's like in the Spider-Verse when Miles and that other Peter Parker meet each other.
Mm-hmm. They can feel each other's senses.
Yeah, I'm just going to say their actors' names because I think that's easier.
It's easier.
Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they're like looking at each other, and they're like, wait a minute, you don't know him. And you can tell like their spidey senses are like going off at each other, and like they do a flip, and then like of course like the more experienced like Spider-Man hits like right above his wrist, and then Andrew Garfield's like
So that's the interesting part you pointed out,
because at first I was like, yeah, how did he know to?
Tobey Maguire's comes out of him.
Because
Meanwhile,
Sam Raimi messed up on that a little bit.
Meanwhile, what's the other guy?
Andrew Garfield.
Thank you. Andrew Garfield's comes out of a gadget, like so does Tom Holland. But he shot him in the gadget without knowing that he had one.
Yeah, at first I was like, yeah, how did he know to shoot him there? And you think I made a really good point that like, well, that's the same spot where it comes out of
him.
Tobey.
Yeah.
So like he would just block that spot. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
You talked about like he's like a more experienced Spider-Man though.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you got to think about this. When he showed up, he was in like his church pastor clothes, right? they mentioned in the movie.
Yeah, he was in civilian stuff. Well, I guess he had it underneath.
Well, it's because that's him. Nobody knows that he is Spider-Man in his universe because he keeps it a secret.
Mm-hmm. But like he had the advantage.
Those two do a way better keeping the secret than Tom Holland does.
But like he had an advantage over Andrew's because Andrew was legitimately in a Spider-Man costume, right?
Right.
So he goes, oh, he has webs and stuff. He knows where it's going to
come out.
He knows
where to hit him.
He didn't know who this guy is in this game jumping off a roof through a portal.
And then the grandma's like, can you guys clean up I don't know what language she speaks, but like he tells Ned to he's like, oh, grandma says, can you guys clean up the webs that you shot all over the place? And then she goes, I'm going to bed. Grandma's done.
She gave Tobey Maguire Spider-Man a weird look. Remember that?
Yeah. People say that it was because she's the person from his movie, but it doesn't make any sense.
Would it be like her like version of this Dimensions? You ever think about that?
Right. Yeah, but like how does it they wouldn't recognize each other still.
It's love across dimensions.
No. Yeah, probably not though.
So they soon realize though that they're on the same team because they're both Spider-Man. And they're like, I think this is also pretty cool too. They asked these two Spider-Men, like, do you guys have any like spot that you would go to like, or no, they tell Ned and MJ, like, does he have any spot that like he goes to like think about stuff?
Yeah.
And then like mine was the Empire State Building, and
mine was the Chrysler Building.
He's like, yeah, a little bit taller. So
good view.
In that comparison, this Spider-Man has the worst view.
Oh yeah,
he's on top of a school.
Yeah,
he's like, you know what? I love to look at school. I like books.
I guess I could make like the argument that like that's where he met MJ, so like that's why he likes that spot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But it's high school. No one likes high school.
True, high school sucks.
Is he afraid of heights?
Ooh,
because I think he was in the first movie, right? When he had to climb the Washington Monument.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
because like that's the thing with every Spider-Man, they have to get over their fear of heights.
So he's still afraid of heights.
And they do that by climbing to the Empire State Building.
Well, he did jump on a giant spaceship and left the atmosphere.
That's true. But while he was doing it, he goes, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down.
Interesting, maybe. So they find Tom Holland at the top of the school, and at first he's like, "Hey, whoa, who are these guys?" And they're like, "They're here to help because they're like you." And Tom Holland, of course, he's angry, he's rageful, he's sad, which I understand, and he tells both of them, like, do not tell me you understand how I feel, even though they both know exactly how he feels.
Yeah.
Don't they tell their stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, they died and it was all my fault. Literally exactly what happened.
So this is I've always wondered this. When Andrew Garfield tells him after, not
Gwen
MJ,
Stacy. Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. After Gwen Stacy died, he's like, I got rageful. I stopped pulling my punches. I'm like, did this Spider-Man kill people? I would like to see a Amazing Spider-Man 3, please.
It just is called Amazing Spider-Man 3, No Holds Barred.
Yo. And then eventually he talks about how he, I think we can see in his character, though, that he eventually kind of got through it and became like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again.
Because he realized that that's not what she would have wanted.
I love how the emotion carries over to this movie, too. Like, that was a sad scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great actors.
Should
literally all great actors.
Should have saved her, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe I don't have stretchy webs.
And then Tobey Maguire tells him about how he wanted the guy that killed his Uncle Ben dead. Well, he didn't kill him. He certainly got what he wanted because, like, he was intimidating him in a building, and he, like, fell off the building and, like, hit the pavement and died. And he said, like, it didn't make me feel any better that this guy died. And they convinced Peter that she did not die for nothing. The message that rings through every multiverse, every Spider-Man ever. I think this is what's really cool. Like the amount of differences, like with each like Spider-Man that could be different. This message is always the same, and this is what convinces them
to be the good.
Yeah, to always keep doing good no matter how much bad happens to you. And so they go to the high school, and they got like, this is a rich high school, I guess, because they got like
everything.
They got tools, they got chemicals, they got.
Like, I don't know about you, Riley. Our high school didn't have anything. We just did calculations all day long and put gummy bears in water.
I think the most expensive thing we had was like 20-year-old
Bunsen burners.
The magnifying.
Telescope?
Microscope.
Thank you, microscope.
And they were like
telescopes,
and those things were old.
Yeah,
like we had all the chemicals in this locked door, but like we never touched them.
All that we had, I don't think we had chemicals.
No,
I don't think so. And if we did, we never used them. I had took chemistry. I guess I could have probably taken like AP chemistry or something, but I took chemistry and honors chemistry. Or
Only
something.
Nerds take those courses.
We didn't have those. We only had one chemistry class.
But we used the Bunsen burner and we did salt water or something like that, I think.
Oh,
and maybe we messed with some hydrochloric acid at barely. I don't think we did very much.
We made s'mores with the Bunsen burners. I remember that.
Yeah. Dude,
so
my favorite thing was lighting the Bunsen burner and then using the striker. It's like the disc. Just using that and going over it like a bunch, and then it just sparkles. It just had like little fireworks going off.
So they got stuff in this high school.
So much stuff.
And they use it to start to cure the villains. And Tobey Maguire gives Tom Holland a look, and he's like, we got to cure them all, right? Because he knows what Tom Holland's going through right now. He just wants to kill the Goblin, which is kind of cool because Toby also wanted to just straight up kill the Goblin, but he refrained from doing so. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, it's not about what you want to do. It's about what you should do. And what they should do is cure these villains and send them back. And so it's pretty cool, right? Though, because
they're gonna go back and die.
Andrew Garfield has already cured Dr. Connor, so you can do that pretty easy. Tobey Maguire has said he's been thinking about Doc Ock for a long time. So he's got an idea of how to cure him.
No, not Doc Ock.
Or not Goblin.
Yeah.
The Docs are cured.
Yeah. And I think they just work on they kind of like collab, I guess, on Sandman and Electro.
Yeah, but also Octavius just got struck by a bunch of lightning, so it could have shorted his thing again. You know, watching this movie the first time, you're like, he could have gotten shorted out again and become bad about again.
It's possible,
but they don't fix him again, right?
No, he's good. He's cool.
Yeah. But I got scared when he showed back up. I was like, oh, he's bad. He's bad now.
But I do love this entire this set, this little scene where they're in the high school.
Yeah.
All the little quirks they go about. Like at one point, he's talking with Andrew Garfield. He goes, "Yeah, my best friend tried to kill me," or Toby
with Ned.
And then Andrew goes, "Oh yeah, mine too," because they both had their friends that turned into the Goblin.
And he goes over to Peter.
Ned walks over to Tom Holland's Peter. And he
I'm
goes,
not gonna kill.
I won't kill you. I promise.
He goes, "Thanks, man." And then you cut to Andrew Garfield and he goes, thumbs up. And then that led to a bunch of dumb theories of Ned's the new Hobgoblin. And I'm like, no, he's Magic Boy.
The Hobgoblin with magic.
Bro. No, that actor's done. Rip.
It sucks.
It was a little sad to see like Tom Holland and Zendaya were doing a little thing, right? Just being cute and supportive, and you see Andrew in the back just being a sad boy.
Should have saved Gwen. That's all I'm saying. And then what is kind of cool though is how Toby asked him, he's like, "Did you ever have?" Honestly, my favorite part of this entire movie is just the three Spider-Men just kind of vibing and talking to each other. He's like, "Did you ever?" Toby asked Andrew, he's like, "Did you ever have time for any of that?" And he goes, "Well, it's kind of a complicated question, but yeah, Toby says I kind of made it work out in the end," which I like that because in the end of Spider-Man 3, it was left kind of vague-ish. Yeah. So I'm happy they worked it out.
He said it's complicated.
It's complicated. Well, I mean, they said it worked out in the end.
Yeah.
And then Andrew is still alone.
Poor guy.
He'll never know love. It's fine.
I really need to know how long after their movies where they were yanked from,
Yeah.
Was this right after Gwen or?
Because we know for the villains, it was right before they died.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for the Spider-Man, who knows? Well, I'm assuming Toby's was quite a bit after, right? Because of what he says about MJ. And then I guess the same thing with Andrew because it took some time for him to heal
But one of them said that he was in the middle of doing something and then all he could remember is waking up here.
Andrew. He was like, yeah, I was in my universe, and then I woke up here.
So he was doing something.
Oh, yeah, maybe he was fighting somebody?
I can't remember.
And so they go to the place of second chances, which I think is pretty fun that the Statue of Liberty is getting a Captain America shield, because I think that just works.
See, I hadn't watched the Winter Soldier and the Falcon show before this. And I thought it would give me some explanation as why. No, they're just doing it.
The show's
probably just a memoriam for Cap.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the shows eventually.
Yeah. After the movies, we'll talk about the shows.
All of the shows truly have nothing to do with the timeline so far. Well, not really, right?
I would say
Wanda does.
WandaVision does a little.
And so does Loki a little.
And so does Loki a little.
But other than that, yeah, I think you're right.
Hawkeye just kind of introduces a new character. Really?
I have my theory about the end of Hawkeye.
Or Same. Falcon and Winter Soldier, not really.
No.
She-Hulk, not really. Moon Knight, absolutely not.
Great story, but not.
I'm excited for him to come in.
Oh, yeah. Miss Marvel.
No.
You're the only one that watched it.
Yeah, no. Are we just going to skip that one just to...
No, I mean, we got to talk about it, but I'm not looking forward to it.
So anyway, we're Statue of Liberty. Peter sending a message to J. Jonah Jameson, who's broadcasting it to the country. So the villains show up, and before then though, the three Spider-Men are talking again, and Andrew's asking Well, first, like he has a back problem, you know, because he's the old Spider-Man, because he has a old back, so Andrew helps him crack it.
It's the middle back thing.
Because you know they do a lot of swinging. So
Yeah.
I watched a video, like a little clip of like, oh yeah, I don't know what happened, but it just it hurts. Maybe it's from swinging. It shows him like falling from like several stories on cars and getting beat into walls.
and then they asked him about how does the web come out of you? It's like, does it come out of anywhere else?
They asked the questions that we needed answers to.
And it was Tom Holland, too, like the true kid, like asking these questions. And then the next question was, who's like your coolest villain you've fought, right?
Mm-hmm. Tom wins.
Yeah.
He fought Thanos.
I fought this alien one time that could
in
take
space
over people. And then Tom goes, yeah, I fought an alien once too. He
on Earth and in space.
And then poor
Andrew.
Andrew.
I'm lame. I fought a guy in like a rhinoceros suit once, and he's like, "Can we go back to the part where you said I'm lame?"
Toby's years of like therapy sessions come into play.
It's all about self-talk.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Amazing Spider-Man.
I did love that they're playing on the words of his movie,
True.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. Give I guess his other like cool villain that he fought is in this movie already. So, so the villains start to show up. I think it's Electro that shows up first.
I think Sandman as well. Like you start getting the whirling of sand,
and which is pretty cool. When Electro shows up, you see like the star on his face, which is from his comic book. His goofy costume from the comic. Yeah. He's like, I love this interaction that Electro has with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. He's like, well, it's my old friend Spider-Man. He's like, we're trying to help you. And he goes, you ain't even the blank, 4-letter word starts with an S. He's like, you ain't even the blank no more. And you go, he's
just so sad.
He's so defeated.
Lost his girlfriend, keeps getting made fun of.
I think Jamie Foxx is so cool in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he's cool in like just about every movie he's in. But
I'm just glad he's not blue anymore.
True. That design was stupid.
Yeah. He looked like Mr. Manhattan too much.
Yeah. They
I love the entrance, like the original Face Off, right? When they all land up top.
Yeah.
That is a dope scene.
Heck yeah. The lizard shows up, Sandman's here. And they're struggling because they've never Tom's the only one that's teamed up before.
Been in a team before, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they don't know about the Avengers.
Yeah.
And they don't know what their names are.
Yeah.
Oh, Spider-Man.
I thought I was Peter. What? Peter. And he goes, well, I don't mean to brag, but I was in the Avengers. And then
sweet.
Toby's like, how's that helping? And then they give off the names, and I think like Peter 3 for Andrew Garfield. Peter 3.
Yep. Okay. Because the only person who was confused about it was Tom.
Yeah.
Or not Tom. Toby.
And then
He's like, I thought I was Peter too.
And then Andrew Garfield, before they break again, he goes, I love you guys. And they're like, that's great.
No, he's just trying to have some kind of connection with somebody.
So they coordinate the attacks. Things are going good.
They keep like messing each other's webs up.
Yeah. They get the anti-collider whatever to Toby.
Yes.
In the top of the statue,
drowning in sand.
Yeah, and it cures him. The second one
is Lizard.
Is it Lizard?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember if Doc Ock shows up before then.
No.
So they throw MJ because MJ and Ned are there because the portal's open and he can't close it. MJ, well, yeah, because the lizard runs into the portal and is chasing them, and Ned opens up and he just keeps opening portals.
He doesn't know how to do what he's doing.
The second one he opens is in the bottom of the ocean, and like it floods the lizard down to like the base of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. And
then like MJ throws the cure to Tom, and like he has it, and like it bites it. The lizard bites it, and like the gas cures Dr. Connors. And Yeah, the last person they're having like real trouble with because of how like powered up he is Electro.
Yeah.
Because like I guess he could always teleport, but like he can shoot a beam from his chest now, and like he can
very
teleport.
difficult, yeah.
It's and then like he's zapping Andrew Garfield like pretty bad, and then. Yeah, Doc Ock shows up and he's like, "They're mine," and I was like, "What?"
Dude, I was so scared. I was like, "Oh no, he got electrocuted!"
And then he grabs Electro, rips off the arc reactor, and then puts on the siphon, and like, because he was so powered up, it just immediately.
Yeah. Well, I think it had that antenna, which like probably was a speed.
It was an
adjustment.
improved version of the first one.
Oh. Right, they worked on a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it also helped that he was super powered.
Yeah.
So.
And then he falls to the ground, and Max, that's his name.
Max.
And then Andrew Garfield, he jumps in and goes, Max.
You all right? You with us?
He's like, nah, I'm all tapped out. And then he was like, that young chiseled face that like helping out the poor people. I just thought you were a brother. And I was like,
He's
dude,
like,
Miles
grew up in
Morales
Queens.
is coming. I guarantee it.
Dude, I really hope, because I think it'd be such a cool story.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man has to die.
That's my thing. I don't want him to die.
Yeah. There's always the multiverse. So 3 Spider-Man get up top. Doctor Strange shows up, super pissed off because he's been dangling over the Grand Canyon for 3 hours.
Yep.
And then because Ned
That's how.
Ned opens up the portal and Doctor Strange steps through.
Where was he opening the portal to?
I don't know.
He just magically went to the mirror dimension.
And then Doctor Strange is like, "Did you just open a portal?" And he goes, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Huh." Ned's magic.
Yeah, bro. He's trying to tell him and he didn't listen.
Anybody can really, if they have to harness it, right? But Ned somehow just...
He just did it without
This was
trying.
kind of on accident.
Yeah. He's a natural.
So Doctor Strange sees that they're getting cured, but he still wants to put a stop to this right now. And the 3 Spider-Men are like, "You went to the Grand Canyon? He could have used your help, man." So Doctor Strange is like about ready to like hit this thing. Yeah. And then we get another really cool line. "Can the Spider-Man come out to play?" And then the Goblin shows up, starts like it's the bombs with like has like they have like the blades on them.
Yeah.
And like they're flying in. And like Doc Ock gets a few, but I think one gets stuck in the box. Yeah.
No. So for that one, he flies through and grabs the box.
Oh, he grabs the box.
And then when they get it back, it had a bomb in it. And that is what caused the spell to go mayhem.
And yeah, so the box exploded. So now the spell is just kind of it's on again. And so
Doctor Strange has to deal with that.
Yeah, so he's like on the tippity top of the Statue of Liberty, trying to like contain it.
This guy's breaking.
What?
Yeah,
this guy's breaking.
Oh yeah. It's like these different like purple pocket dimensions are like opening up.
Everybody who knows,
it's like cracking, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everybody who knows Spider-Man or Peter Parker is coming through.
No, it's everybody that knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, which is a lot.
Yeah.
In the infinite multiverse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that know.
I love the amount of villains you can see in that crowd.
I caught Rhino, Scorpion, Kraven the Hunter. I think Kraven the Hunter. I don't know.
Could be Lobo. Is that DC? Is it Marvel?
I don't know.
I think it's Marvel.
I don't know. Don't care. So yeah, he's trying to contain that. And yeah, like you said, Goblin's throwing bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
And like the scaffolding is getting destroyed. MJ falls.
Oh no!
And Tom Holland jumps off to try to save her, but then Goblin comes in with the glider and catches her.
Catches him.
Catches her, and then speeds him away. And then Andrew jumps off, and he learns, instead of like webbing her and like from the whiplash snapping her neck, grabs her and
That's-
like takes her to the ground.
That's another thing. Andrew Garfield's webs are stretchy. They are.
They are?
Yes.
You sure?
Because even this one, when he shot it up,
Well, they're all stretchy,
He, like-
but
Oh, well, yeah, technically they are, right?
they're
'Cause-
more stretchy than the others.
Well, even in his one, he'd throw him on the end of the crane, right, and like stretch him a little more.
Yeah.
And then fling forward.
probably because of I would assume it's like
It's the different web fluids
yeah,
they made.
yeah, the different chemicals and
Right.
yeah.
But like that was a really cool thing that they kept because in his
That's
movie
what snapped her neck.
the reason she died is because the spider web was stretchy and bounced her head off the ground.
I feel like either way, she's dead no matter what. If it was,
yeah, for
stretching.
sure.
But yeah, I get
Yeah,
you.
he was just too far away.
Yeah.
But he saves this MJ, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And he starts crying.
And then he starts crying immediately.
MJ goes, "Are you okay?"
Peter opens up like the slot or like
Where the
Green
bombs
Goblin has
fly
the
out.
bombs and like just detonates one. So like they fall to like where the shield of the Statue of Liberty has like fallen like partly into the water and like the little island.
Yeah.
And like that's where they have their like final fight. And dude, you can see it in Peter's eyes. He's gonna kill this guy.
Oh yeah.
And like
He's upset.
the punches that he throws, like, and you can tell it's just like exactly what the Goblin wants. He wants Peter to kill him.
It's like the Joker.
Yeah, I was about to say he's about to play the Joker.
Yeah, Willem
Smiles
Dafoe.
like him.
Willem Dafoe, play the Joker right now.
Ooh, that'd be pretty good.
There's like one punch where like
Yeah.
that where like Peter lands. If it would have connected, no, he did. Goblin did.
It was the one where he like jumped up in the air and was gonna smash down on his head with both fists.
Yeah, and it puts a dent in this like whatever this metal
Full
is.
bronze statue.
So they
Yeah.
he picks up, well, he like beats the crap out of the Goblin.
Yeah.
And-
He's still laughing about it too, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's fine with this. Oh, and Ned falls too, and the cape grabs him. The cape
The
chose
cape
its user.
chose him. Dude,
Thank
he
you,
can't
Mr.
be
Cape,
done.
sir.
He can't be done.
Well, doesn't the Goblin like revert back to Norman? Like tries to pretend he's Norman?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So Peter picks up the glider and is gonna stab him with it. And I think this is pretty cool that like Tobey Maguire saves one of his past villains because he, like he said in the beginning, he kind of regretted, he thought about him a lot not being able to save him. So like he saves two people, I guess. He saves Tom Holland here. He like grabs the glider before he can stab him, and Peter like calms down a bit and like drops it, bro. And then Green Goblin stabs Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't.
He falls to the Tobey
Yeah,
Maguire
falls.
falls to the ground. You're like,
Bro,
no.
no. And then who throws? Is it Andrew Garfield that
Yeah.
throws the cure? Throws the cure and then like puts it in his neck and like he's
Dude,
back
that
to
was
Norman.
Tom Holland's like, like
He's like, yeah, that was the cure.
yeah, I thought it was a knife. Oops.
Straight up though, I don't care if it's a cure or not. He hit him hard with a
hit him
needle.
Probably took out a little aggression on the.
Probably.
And then they're like, oh my god, are you okay? He goes, yeah, no, I've been stabbed before.
You're in a lot of pain, aren't you? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the world's breaking.
Yes.
And he webs up to Doctor Strange, and Peter tells him the plan, where it's like, well, what if we just went back to the original spell where nobody knew me? And he goes, yeah, I suppose that would work. And so Peter once again takes the responsibility, where he's like, yep, this is what we have to do if we're gonna save the world. And
it sucks.
it sucks because even Doctor Strange with like a sad look in his eye goes like, I'll see you around, kid.
So he goes down and he says thank you and goodbye to the two other Peters, and then he goes over to MJ and Ned.
Yeah, I like that line too, where he's like, I don't know what else to say besides thank you, and he goes, don't worry about it, that's what we do. And then Yeah. Oh man, I teared up twice in this movie. I'll
MJ?
say it. When May died, and then when MJ and Peter are talking to each other. Oh man, this is so tough.
Because she's sad. She's actually mad that like they're not going to be able to remember him, right?
Right. Because no, we can make up a plan. We can figure something else out.
Because she's always had control in her life, right? And this is the one thing she cannot control.
And then Ned and Peter do like the handshake, and bro, this is not the last time we get to see the guy in the chair.
Bro, it hurt me more because, like, think about it. This man is beaten, bloody, bruised. He's had, like, a hell of a day. And he's more worried about MJ because she has the tiniest little scratch on his face, or her face.
True.
That's what kind of got me a little bit, too.
I don't like it. I don't like watching. It's like that scene of Marley and Me when they put him down. Like, I don't want to watch this again. Here, they cut me open. Here comes the floodgate.
It's all coming out. It's all.
So
It's really a sad scene.
he lets the spell go, and
Everybody forgets Peter Parker.
everybody disappears. Andrew Garfield gives a peace sign to Tobey Maguire, and I think we just do a jump cut here.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It cuts to black, and we see Peter walking around. It's snowing, so Christmas.
Yes, I believe it's been a couple months. Because when this happened, they were taking down Halloween decorations, which makes me
and now
think
it's Christmas.
that it's around Christmas, so probably a full month. So
we see Peter, civilian clothes. World seems normal. He's reciting this like note that he has. He's like, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker, and we used to know each other." Yada yada. He walks in. He sees Ned and MJ, and like they're talking to each other about MIT, and they're like, "Oh," he realizes that they're happy that they got in, and it's such a tough decision, but it's such a great decision.
Yeah, it's a Spider-Man decision.
You know what made him switch over from his decision, like to tell him, right? Was that single cut on her forehead. Because like he doesn't want to get hurt, right?
Get her hurt, yeah.
And so he's about to tell her.
He's like, I'm Peter Parker. I want a coffee.
Because she turned to her, like the whole time you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys also saw this.
The necklace?
She had the necklace on.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that there is still something there.
I wonder if, like, in that way, they'll always be kind of connected, even if they don't know it.
Yeah.
If she doesn't. I wonder if, like, after the spell happened, she looked down, she goes, "Oh, that's a cool necklace."
That's the thing, is like, where did she get the necklace from? Spider-Man? Did Spider-Man give her the necklace? Because that's when she got
I
it.
imagine she just doesn't remember where she got the necklace from.
Technically, yeah, he was in the Spider-Man suit.
It was in his spider suit. So maybe she got it from Spider-Man. Her and Spider-Man have a thing, but she can't tell people.
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna bring him back, right? Because like that's his whole love interest is
MJ.
So,
So he.
Well, this is when we get
he
Black
doesn't
Cat.
tell him. I think this would be a really good time to introduce Black Cat.
Because
nobody knows Peter Parker and everybody knows Spider-Man, and Black Cat only cares about Spider-Man.
And it only happens when him and MJ are not together.
Correct. I think this would be a perfect time.
That's probably what the next one will be.
I hope so. That'd be
I hope
cool.
it's a college movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so he doesn't tell them to keep him safe, and he leaves.
It broke me.
Yeah, that was tough.
It hurt.
So then he goes to May's grave, and I'm like, oh my god, this sadness never ends.
Yeah,
Happy.
And then he meets Happy there. Is like she was a great woman. She was and even Happy. This confirms it that even Happy doesn't know who Peter is, and he goes, "Well, if you knew her, then I'd say that you're a really good person too."
He says, "How do you know her?" And he goes, "Through Spider-Man." How do you know her? Oh, through Spider-Man. It's like, oh no.
And like you said, so Peter gets a new apartment. He still has the little Lego Palpatine that was Ned's from the Death Star.
So in that scene, you can see a GED notebook, meaning he didn't graduate high school.
Mm-hmm.
So
which makes sense because that was their senior year, and he never finished it.
That makes more sense than I was thinking. I was thinking that his name was stricken from every.
Or that could be.
Like
could be a little bit both.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been meaning by like he doesn't exist.
I got you.
Every paper copy of anything that has his name on it.
Because that's what we looked up
gone.
too. Flashpoint, gone. It's just gone.
Secondly, though, like Devin's argument when we've like talked about this before, right? Is Peter's not gone, just everybody forgot about Peter.
Right.
So Peter still exists. It's just everybody who ever knew him
and also
doesn't
like
remember him.
Let's see, the people that really knew him anyway, like I think those are the people that really matter when you're talking about like who remembers him.
Right.
Like Happy doesn't remember, MJ doesn't, Aunt May is deceased.
I bet she probably remembers him.
But yeah, I think this is absolutely perfect how they ended this movie. Because he has the mindset, the apartment, he's alone. He has to make his own suit, which he does, and it looks dope because it's the red and blue.
It's like a sparkly blue too.
And
like, what is that?
he has to make the gadgets and like rely on his smarts all by himself. No
really,
Tony
really,
tech anymore, which is
no money.
I was
no
really,
money.
really hoping he'd get the glasses back.
no.
Like, obviously, he wouldn't be able to use them, but, like, it's still something that he got from Tony.
Oh, like just to keep it around.
Yes.
I got you.
I'm
You
sure
know,
he still has the suit.
Well,
Like, that's his phone now. Like, instead of walking around with his phone out and, like, trying to, like, text and stuff while he's swinging, he has his glasses on. Like, that'd be really cool.
I wonder if the glasses would recognize him.
I don't think so, because I think that's why he made the
That's
suit.
another
That's
thing.
the argument, right?
Would the glasses recognize
Probably
him?
not.
No. He would have authority.
But it's code. I feel like the code would be like it's like for some reason authentication passed or something, like he would be able to use them, but it doesn't know why.
I wonder if it's people
Does
who
the
forget.
spell work
not,
on computers?
Not tech. Ooh, that's a good question.
But that would defeat the purpose of him making a new suit, though, right? That's the whole
Yeah.
thing, because like the tech doesn't recognize him anymore.
and I
was
think
like-
this goes to more beyond people because, like with the books, right?
Yeah.
Flashpoints is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think it goes to every mention of Peter Parker ever in this.
Yeah.
In
It
this
is
universe.
magic.
My thought was like facial recognition though. So
But he uses his phone for like to track criminal activities. So and then he gets in the suit and he swings around and he's doing his thing.
and beneath him is Hawkeye.
Times Square.
probably.
Yeah, Times Square. So yeah, we'll probably talk about that a little bit more context to that later, but I think that's 100%. 100% that's what's happening.
Same exact time.
Question. In the timeline, like, scheme of things, right? Is this, like, Hawkeye right after this movie or before this movie?
Hawkeye is probably right after because it's towards Christmas.
I need to
Christmas? I don't know.
It's Hawkeye takes place the week of Christmas.
True. So yeah, that's kind of the end of the main movie.
Yeah. Then we get
So-
a couple after credit scenes.
Yeah. Mid-credit scene. The universe displaced Eddie Brock in the symbiote.
This doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. I don't understand.
Where it could make sense is, although it doesn't, because Venom in the comics took over Spider-Man to begin with, Venom would know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Like we talked about, the only flaw with that is
He came in off a rock. He's been
that happens in the comics.
He's been with Eddie Brock
but
the whole time.
Yeah, he's never been
He's never met a
bonded
Spider-Man.
with a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, which this could be wrong, but symbiotes operate on a hive mind. So this would be a stretch, but
It'd
like
be a huge stretch.
Hive minds across
if
dimensions.
hive minds cross
Multiverse.
universes,
Dude,
then,
that
That
like-
would make them OP. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, though.
then like Eddie Brock's Venom and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3 would know.
right.
So, but I don't know. That's a big stretch.
See, the thing is, right, like, I think it really only brought Eddie over, and since the symbiote's attached to Eddie, it's what brought him back,
Eddie
right?
doesn't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah, why bring him back?
Exactly.
That's a great question.
It's a very
But
confusing.
I think for me right now it's a retcon unless I get an explanation.
Another thing, though, the reason why I think they left the symbiote, right, That's like whole thing. Like now there's a symbiote in his world.
Yeah.
Is because of the symbiote was attached to Eddie, and that part broke off, and it only brought Eddie over, and he was attached to Eddie.
Yeah.
And so now that he left, it didn't think to
Right.
be-
It's the reason to get the Venom symbiote in this universe.
They
which
could
I'm
have done it a whole other
They
thing.
could have just had her, like the comic books, just have a rock come down to his face.
So that's the thing, right? The next Spider-Man movie is probably going to be a Venom of some sort,
Which would be pretty dope.
which would be pretty dope.
I kind of
Comic books, the video game too. Him and
got-
Miles
I've got
with
an
Venom
idea.
and Kraven the Hunter.
Well, they already had Venom in the video game, by the way.
Yeah, with Osborn, boy.
Yeah, he's in the little thing he was one, but yeah.
I think the next Spider-Man, because they're all of them are like something home.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next one is going to be Spider-Man Home Sweet Home,
Home Sweet Home.
and it's going to be about him finding college.
The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man
yeah.
life. Ooh, interesting.
Homesick?
That's kind of a cool.
Homesick.
Ooh,
Dude,
Right.
that's the college one. That's a
'Cause-
good one.
Because he's probably sick with his symbiote, right? Because it kind of like messes with Spider-Man a little bit. Plus, a lot of kids get homesick when they go to college. Man, look at me. I should.
Give him a round of applause. That's a good one.
I think I should get some money for this. I just,
they come out with a different title. Well, that's just not as good. But I think that's all the after. Is that all the after credits? Oh no, the trailer.
So
Right,
then the
right.
final after credit scene is the trailer for the new.
Doctor Strange.
Strange.
Thank you. I was gonna say Magic Man, the new Magic guy.
I just looked it up. Hawkeye is technically after Multiverse of Madness.
Really,
So it is after the Spider-Man movie.
How about that?
that's interesting.
So I don't
It
know.
should be right.
So
before.
Christmas must have just started in this.
Well, it could just be winter, right?
Yeah, it could have like snowed the month before. I don't know. Who cares?
But
It's also the show takes over like extended period of time, not just a couple days, you know. So
no, it is.
It's
only
a
few
it's a
days.
it's a it's a week.
It's 1 week.
It's a
it's
week.
week. But like movies usually take like this one was like 2 days.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
So yeah, last after credit scene.
This last after credit scene is so cool because it introduces the new like multiverse of madness and what's going on. Like it's just all of these really cool like teasers for what's to come.
Yeah, it's the next Doctor Strange movie, which I mean we'll talk about it more when we get there.
Was a complete shift. In my opinion, this is a shift in the MCU.
I thought you were about to say something else.
No, this is a total shift in the MCU because we've had like funny movies, you know, with Thor Ragnarok and with Guardians of the Galaxy, and now we're getting to like sad, like life-changing movies and shows like
I thought you were
WandaVision
gonna say
and-
like magic. I'm like, we've had magic before.
I think it's
I
also
get what you mean though. They're like it's more darker in tone, I think, than the last Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I thought you meant like like it's a shift for Doctor Strange because this first one was lighthearted, all this cool magic and stuff. And this one was like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with this movie, with
We'll talk about it more when we get
the
there.
next movie, with movies that are to come,
movies and more movies.
they're all very. It seems very dark, so
Well,
it's just interesting.
I'm gonna just elaborate on this as well. I just wanted to say one more thing. I agree with you because like we have the commercials out for the new Ant-Man, right? We haven't seen it,
right.
but even then, like Ant-Man movie has been a lighthearted movie ever since it came out, and all of a sudden, like from what the advertisement
It looks like it's going to change.
it looks pretty dark. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said what I wanted to talk about with the Spider-Man's basically.
That
being
was the only
gone,
two
but-
like little questions I had was like with Electro and Eddie Brock. That was the only two little things I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Other than that, I feel like
This is
this
one of
was
the best
very
Sony
solid.
movies that has ever.
I think. Oh yeah, with their track record, that's not saying a whole lot. But no, for me in the MCU, I think that like I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. The only reason I don't do 10 out of 10 is like those little nagging questions I have.
Yeah,
But no, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite. It's up like Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. It's up there with that one. Like it's 9 out of 10. The continuity, the CGI, the 3 Spider-Men, come on. All the villains. It tells its own individual story. Like people say it relies only on nostalgia. There's a known individual story that happens within this movie. And then the ending is just perfect Spider-Man. So yeah, 9 out of 10.
I agree. I was gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. It is such an amazing show. Like, just to sit down and watch, you get all of their individual worlds get brought into it.
They keep all the continuity.
Oh yeah.
Even the messed up continuity was Tobey Maguire's.
Yeah, with his like scar tissue looking. Yeah. And we get some answers to Tobey Maguire questions. Like, does he ever get like a mental block? Where else does it come out of?
Yeah.
It's just it's really an interesting like fan homage as well as a really good movie. So I give it a 9 out of 10.
I would I'm like Devin. I'm contemplating a 10 because like this when I first thing after I came watch this movie, I was like, Devin, that was like my favorite Spider-Man movie.
When I watched it in the theater, I was like, MCU peaked again.
But like, I love this movie. The attention to detail is what like blows my mind, right? Because like there's scenes where like he went like that first scene when he's on like the overpass, right? He has the suit on all of a sudden. His shadow has a suit. The minute he switch over into the suit, it also changes his shadow, right? Little details like that. There's like details when they're swinging on the Statue of Liberty. Tobey Maguire is using 2 webs while the other 2 are not. And it's because he doesn't have to conserve his webs like the other 2 do, right? So like little details like that is what kind of sets it over for me. Plus the nostalgia, right? The continuity, everything about it, like what you guys just said, it's perfect.
Oh, and also the fact that they're still introducing characters like organically. You know, Matthew Murdock just kind of pops up, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Symbiote.
Oh, and I guess I mean, as dumb as it is, like how it got here, I think that the symbiote being in there and a potential like, I wonder who our Eddie Brock is going to be though, because that Eddie Brock,
we haven't met it.
Flash Thompson.
Flash
you think that Flash Thompson? What?
Flash does get the symbiote at some point, right?
Right, but I can't see this guy. What? I can't.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
Who's that?
Completely separate, different medium.
Like 80s.
Right, but who is that? Oh, that's a movie. That's its own movie.
Yeah.
Okay, whoops.
Not MCU.
I was like, I know Flash something, right?
Yeah. I'm curious who that could possibly be. But yeah, no, very solid.
Yes.
Incredible movie.
Absolutely. That is going to conclude the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you next time.